Hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of PAR Real Talk. My name is Pali. I will be the host of the show. And with me today, I have an incredible guest. So if I get you to please introduce yourself, tell us your name, where you're from, and tell us what you do, please.
My name is Matthew Kenslow, and I'm over here in California in the United States. And part of what I do is I post on social media, and I have a couple of books out. And I'm also a substitute teacher in my district and a math tutor on the side.
Wow. So you you got your hands full there, I can see. So let's kind of dig in from the bottom. Um, from why we're here. So you wrote a book called Unstoppable. That title is a big title anyway. So can you give us a little bit of inspiration as to what brought about that book?
Yeah, the full title is Unstoppable: How One Man with Autism is Never Giving Up on His Lifelong Dream to Become a Teacher and a Worldwide Influencer. So I received a diagnosis of autism when I was 6, and I was formally told about it when I was a freshman in high school and or ninth grade. And by 11th grade, I was an advocate for people with autism. So my hope is to just encourage a lot of people and bring awareness and acceptance.
It's really good. Um, so this is now, so the book is talking about your life and experiences dealing with autism, right?
Yeah, and my second one specifically going through the credential program and being a student teacher and a sub.
Wow. So I suppose if I've gone through a few of your Instagram bits and gone through some social media. The one that struck me was so you teach maths, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Now from being autistic to being a maths tutor, that is a huge achievement. Because yes, you know what okay, this is what I can do. But being able to convey that to somebody else, go, I can teach you how to do this. And maths being really hard subject. How did you navigate through life's challenges? Because that couldn't have been easy.
right. Like when I was, well, I'd say the challenges started in kindergarten when a couple of students would say, "Go away, you're not our friend, you're not playing with us." And I was later name called throughout school. And I understand that those are just like schoolhouse bullying that a lot of people go through in elementary school. And the reason why I had the bullying was because of autism. And through it all, I found catharsis from piano playing to juggling. That was like a release for me. And I always loved math. And then I always loved the idea of teaching. And I became teacher for a day twice in elementary school. And when I got older in 11th grade, my teaching passion solidified. And my goal was not just to know the information, but be able to teach it and teach it in a way that's understandable. So it's always been my passion.
Really incredible. Because yeah, I'm a maths buff myself, and it has a very systematic approach to everything. And apart from the subject, it just kind of emphasized that no matter what the problem is, there's a solution somewhere at the end. So, and you said about juggling. Now I've seen this, and you're incredible. These are not skills that, one person, usually, yeah, you see this from all different people. So for you, what would you say is your main passion? Is it math teaching? Is it writing? Is it performing? Because you seem to do it all. Where does your main passion lie?
I I suppose career-wise, it's teaching. It's being a teacher for students, whether it's like middle school or college. I'm still in that place in my life trying to solidify the career. Currently, I'm a sub, and that's my passion. I still get to teach here and there and help students as a substitute. And then another passion is just going out to the world and in a lot of platforms, news media, social media, and through my books, and just teach other people about what autism is like and the pros and cons, and how we're basically not really different than anyone else. It's just how our minds work.
Absolutely, absolutely. I did an interview a while back now where, the lady was talking about, she's talking about autism and talking about just different ends of the spectrum and going, well, what we should do is actually celebrate all those things because we're missing out because these are the world changers, the leaders, but we're kind of segregating them and going, oh yeah, well, you don't fit in that box, so you're this, so we should celebrate that differences. So I like what you're doing there. And to be able to share your story can't be easy, So what motivated you to think, okay, you know what, I really want people to know about autism. I really want people to know kind of how it affects us and how, yeah, we're not different. What motivated you to do that?
I guess it motivated me because even in my adult years, I still faced discrimination in my high school and adult years of people who seemed to make fun of me because I'm autistic. And I've had lots of stories like people maybe yelling or cussing at me or calling me names and stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be treated like this. And not only that, I don't want anyone else to be treated like this as well. So again, I became an advocate, I'd say officially when I was in 11th grade. And in my college years, I started to write, and I wrote a book that's not published yet, but it's um, about a boy living with autism, and I get to express my feelings. And I took that to an agent, and he said, do an autobiographical piece first. And that's how my first book, Juggling the Issues, got published. And through it all, through social media, through my books and interviews, I guess it encourages me or motivates me knowing that at least I'm doing my part in helping spread awareness so that bullying would cease to an extent.
Wow, that is really, really commendable. And I suppose that kind of leads into my next question as to going through this is couldn't be easy. So how did you find strength to kind of keep going on? Or how did you find strength to keep going on? Nobody was there giving you this information that you're giving to people. How did you navigate that?
I suppose my strength came from my own motivation and belief that, everyone could do what they set their heart and mind to do, disability or not, as long as it's practical. And it's hard to explain. It was just in me and it just propelled me further. It's like I knew there's a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will.
That's really beautiful. Just looking into the future, looking into. No, I like that. I like that answer a lot. And kind of let me kind of go further. That if so, okay, we're talking about autism. People are watching. If there's one thing that you want them to take away from this, what would it be?
It would be this: disability or not, I believe anybody could do whatever they set their heart and mind to do, as long as it's practical. And behind the disability, we have a heart and a mind. And I encourage people to, well, I say be number one. And in my definition, that means that you know what you want to do in life, you know what's going to bring you joy, yet even in the face of adversity, such as a disability, you choose to continue with what you want to do and who you want to be. And at the same time, don't try to be someone else, just be yourself and be like authentic, be yourself at the same time. Because there's always going to be people that you could be influenced by, and that's okay, but just be yourself.
Great advice. Great advice. Be yourself. No, don't try and be anybody else. So no, I like that. Stay in your lane. And let me kind of go into this bit that you've had obviously uh, different moments in life. Have you ever felt like you are under kind of estimated just because, oh yeah, you have autism And how did you handle those experiences? How did you navigate through it?
I've I've detected sometimes of where people may have thought or underestimated me, and maybe they thought that there's a lot on my plate and that I couldn't handle a full load of things, or maybe they just saw me and thought I can't do what I want to do, like teaching, or I can't do this or that, and some I like haven't verified that was actually their thoughts or not, and sometimes people may have underestimated me, not trying to be mean, but just trying to say you can't do it, but whenever I hear whenever I ever heard you can't do it, it's like, okay, that's like motivation. I'm going to at least try and see if I could prove that I could do it. So I guess that's what motivated me for those.
That's really, really incredible. You take that negative and just push through. You say, I can't, let me show you I can. That's really great. I like that. Like, where is this going? And so you've been a tutor, or you're teaching students. Obviously, this is a give and take. Has there been any kind of meaningful lesson that you've learned from your students?
Yeah, I was really thinking about that, and I'm not sure if it directly answers, but there's been sometimes in my student teaching where I make mistakes. Like when I did my student teaching, I had to learn how to teach. I mean, I knew the math, but now I have to learn how to teach the math. I guess I was taking too long explaining, and I just, apologized to the students. But one of them said, "It's okay, Mr. Kenslow. We know that you're still learning how to be a teacher, like we're learning math." And then there's another time when I gave a worksheet that was inadvertently above their standard. Like parts of it was above their standard. So I found out they were frustrated for 24 hours, and I owned up to it. I apologized to them. And later on in the semester, I was talking to a couple of those students that I had, like I think it was lunchtime or nutrition. And it was toward the end of my student teaching. A lot of people were sad that my student teaching was coming to the end, but we were talking, I was talking to two of them and I brought up the worksheet and they told me, like, don't worry about Mr. Kenslow. It happened and it was fine. So I think a meaningful lesson to an extent is that they accepted me as who I am. They gave me a chance. The students themselves like gave me a chance and learned from me, and I'm just appreciative of that.
Wow, that's a wonderful one. I really like that answer. And from there, you were kind of titled the best sub teacher, or you got a title. So how does that make you feel on a personal level? You've gone through all these challenges, and now some people that said you couldn't do it can now see it because other people are saying, "Oh wow, you're the best." So how did that reflect in your personal life?
Yeah, personally, it's just one of the most amazing feelings that I came from a background where, in my childhood, people like voted me out of their presence or checked a handball on my face or name called, and even in my high school and adult years, where people like stared and cussed and did all these discriminatory things against me. And I went from that to where, I'm still not going to slow down or give up, and I know what my purpose is and I'm going to do the best of my ability of these purposes of teaching. And so, as a substitute teacher, I have been called by students best sub, literally all over the district, like hundreds of students in a dozen or two schools, one at a time. And I just really appreciate that acceptance. It's like I feel like I'm accepted and for doing what I'm passionate to do, which is helping the students and then rewarding them with rewards. Like I do sleight of hand tricks and I juggle at the end, especially if they have like good behavior and such. And at the end, they call me the best sub and ask their teachers to take a day off so I could come back and all that. So I'm just very appreciative.
It's really, really cool because you get to have the reward kind of almost instantly. Usually, it takes a long time, maybe years when you see them succeed, but this one at least you're feeling that warmth straight away. I like that. And yeah. And let's kind of go into so you're not just a sub, you said about you play the piano. So how long have you been playing the piano for?
21 years. Yeah, or about 20 years, 2004.
Wow, that's cool. That's really cool. And has this kind of helped you in any way? Maybe with personal issues, or how has music contributed to your life?
Yes, from third grade to the present day, as a piano player, it's cathartic. It's like a release, and it's kind of like if there's a lot of things on my mind, if I'm studying a lot, I could play on my keyboard, and just listen to the music, listen to the songs that I like, and play those songs. And it's just a release. And sometimes I feel like pressure is leaving me at that time when I just play, and then afterward I could go back to my day, I guess.
I feel you. So do you think that could be maybe a next line for you? Maybe you're going to release some tracks, or is it just going to be a personal thing for you?
I'm maybe not like in the form of CDs or something like that, but just personal. But in the meantime, I sometimes get recordings of my keyboard or piano playing, and I just upload those on YouTube, and just anyone who wants to listen, they could listen.
Mhm. Perfect. Well, we'll be looking forward to hearing that. But let's cover this bit. So you do so much. Where can people go and find you? Do you have websites and social media sites? What should we search for? Or what should the viewers search for?
Yeah. Well, I post on a lot of the major platforms, YouTube under 𝐬𝐻𝐾, Instagram, 𝐬𝐻𝐾, and TikTok, and X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So just like the major platforms. So they're under my name. Facebook, it's Juggling the Issues and Unstoppable with 𝐬𝐻𝐾, but everything else is just 𝐬𝐻𝐾. And again, TikTok, X, YouTube, and Instagram.
That's great. Like that. And Matthew is spelled like Matthew, and 𝐾𝐨𝐧'𝐭 is 𝐾NSLOW. So yeah, be there to go and follow both. And leads me kind of to my next question. Uh, you do the juggling, you do the teaching, you play the piano, how do you fit all this into your time? How do you schedule your time? Do you not get overwhelmed doing juggling everything?
Right, yeah. It's like I juggle a lot of things, and I don't really get too much overwhelmed because number one thing that I do, and I'd recommend anyone, is to get a calendar. And I have like a little notepad. I mean, a lot of people do it on their computers and phones. I just have like a calendar that I could get every year, and I put in everything that I have, all my tutoring, all my maybe assemblies or speaking engagements, sub jobs, and other things. So that kind of helps. It's just like making a to-do list, which also helps me. And it helps me manage and not get overwhelmed.
So make sure you get diary, calendar, and write it all down. It's always, you hear that advice, but it's kind of, yeah, it's one I should take on myself because I'm like, how do I figure out to do all this at the same time? And when you're not doing all this, how do you stay relaxed, and what do you do for fun?
Well, honestly, what I do for fun is math tutoring. But that and, just maybe getting things organized, like some videos or shorts and such. So yeah, when I'm not like subbing or math tutoring, like um, if I have like a piano, I practice the piano or my keyboard. Or when I was younger, I would, juggle for relaxation outside, and that was just as cathartic as piano playing.
Sam, because absolutely, I've tried juggling. It's pretty hard. Um,
I
yes,
started with one. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
start
my
somewhere.
question. How do we go through that? If I want to learn to juggle, what do I have to do?
Yeah, well, I started with one, long story short, in fifth grade, and I just started to toss it up and down and under my arms. And from one, I went to two, and then three, and then two in one hand, and then I just built up from there. But like, I remember when I started two in one hand, I mean, the most catches I could get was like seven. Like, I usually got like three or four questions before I mean, three or four catches before they fell. But, I just kept practicing. And then by eighth grade, I went to clubs, and those are what looks like bowling pins. And again, I was lucky if I could get five or 10 catches, but I just kept practicing and, and yeah, here I am today, juggling.
It's really, really cool. Again, that just shows resilience and, keep doing it. Practice makes, but they don't say perfection, says it makes improvement. Because, yeah, you will be perfect. It's always another stage of perfection. So, um, yes, I digressed. Let me ask what I call kind of my random question. So, if this book, Unstoppable, if there's an emoji to represent it or one sign, what would it be?
An emoji.
Yes.
Emoji. Oh, I haven't really thought about that. Maybe an emoji where it's like triumph, victory, like he overcame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I feel that. I like that. I like that a lot.
Mm. Yeah.
And the word unstoppable, obviously we know what it is, but to you, and you've written the book, how do you want the viewers or the readers, what do you want them to take from that?
The ultimate hope is for people, especially, well, for aspiring teachers, disability or not, to have the motivation to continue, to not give up. And if I could do the things that I've accomplished, then anyone could accomplish what they set their heart and mind to do. Again, as long as it's practical. And that's what I'm hoping. It doesn't have to be aspiring teachers. It could be any profession. And again, it's especially if the person has a disability, but disability or not, I'm hoping that the readers would get that story that I never gave up, and when people may have tried to tear me down, I never gave up, and I succeeded.
Mm, that's really great. Really, really cool. And this bit, I know you've touched on it a little bit, but just as a full package, or as in what is in the pipeline for Matthew Kenslow? What can we look forward to in the near future?
Well, I'm currently a sub and a tutor, and I do volunteer assemblies. And so my goal is to get in every school, public and private, in Orange County, California. And I've already talked to 10,000 students and 500,000 more to go. So within the next few years, as I try my best to reach that goal, I'll just be subbing and doing a math tutoring. And I talked to my university that I went to, and they're going to see maybe next fall if I could be a math professor so I could get that practice. Well, not just practice, but like actually have that experience teaching math in the meantime. So career-wise, that's my next goal, and but I'll still always plan on posting on social media and encouraging the best I can, and then do a lot of like news media or podcast interviews like this. And that's going to be that's kind of my goal for that. So just teaching and encouraging the world the best I can.
Mm, like that. Be there to go and looking forward to it. We'll be there to follow so we can keep in touch with everything you're doing. It's Matthew Kenslow. And obviously going through your social media, that is kind of behind the screen. But when you're teaching maybe to a few students, when you're juggling, that's to a lot of people. I've seen, some of the clips. do you have a special ritual that you go into before you go and face all these people? Because it can be daunting. Is there a ritual you go through before you get on stage?
Well, I remember the first time when I became an advocate, like the first few years and going on stage and the curtains were about to open or I was being introduced. Honestly, of course, there's those butterflies, but I used them to propel me forward. It's like I used them for my strength, and over time, especially nowadays, I don't really get nervous that much with like podcast or radio. I mean, yeah, when I know I'm doing like something live, like on radio or television, I still get those butterfly feelings a little bit, but I just push through and know that I've done this before, and those seem to help.
Great advice, great advice. Just push through, no, okay? Done it. And the way I say is time will always take. So just be present. And before you know it, it's over. And yeah, you can free ticket later. So, and so for anybody that has disability of any sort, what advice would you give to them in life?
I would I would say that disability or not, anybody could do whatever they set their heart to mind to do as long as it's practical. And again, as you're like be yourself at the same time. Don't bottle things up inside. So if you're bottling things up, if people bullied you or whatnot, just find someone that you could trust and talk about it. Like don't hold in feelings. Just find someone that you could trust and talk about it. And then just don't allow the label of whatever disability it is to slow you down. Like, don't allow the label to slow you down or stop you in any way.
It's a really, really great statement. Love that a lot. And kind of as we're wrapping up, let me ask another one of my random questions. 1st of December, so my Christmas tree is sitting on the corner. And if there was going to be one thing that I could put on my Christmas tree that will represent Matthew Kenslow, what would it be? Maybe an object that we know, maybe something traditional, maybe just anything out of your imagination. What will be on my Christmas tree?
That's a very good question. I never really thought about that. I'm usually good at finding like symbolisms, like finding symbols and archetypes. And I don't know. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind is maybe like a one of those like graduation hats. Like you graduated from this part of your life to now the next part of your life. So metaphorically and academically, maybe that could be it.
Like that a lot. Like graduation. That fits. I like that. Because you're empowering, you're graduating, and you're empowering other people to move through their life as well. So no, I really, really like that answer. Thank you so much for that. And any closing remarks for the viewers from you?
Well, just the encouragements I've said, like I believe that we have purpose and that anyone, has purpose. And just a big thank you for everyone listening, and thank you to you for this interview.
Most welcome. Thank you for coming, out of your busy schedule and you came to share your experience. You're really, really incredible and I appreciate your time. So yeah, we'll be hopefully catching up again soon on the next projects. But till then, it's been an immense pleasure. Take care.
Thank you.